come on in, and my name is Deborah, and I'm going to be doing a recap review on Kirk Franklin's show, The One on TV One. I know y'all been saying, where am I getting it? I finally had to subscribe to Philo to get access to the show, which I ended up doing. You do get 7 days free if you want to try it out. It's pretty simple. Just put in your email address or your phone number, and you was able to watch the show. So now we are on episode 3, y'all. We're on episode 3, and in the words of the gospel singer Kirk Franklin, what in the hell Fitzgerald? Is that what he said? Kirk Franklin is funny, y'all. I didn't know he was so funny. But what in the hell Fitzgerald? What are they doing to our girl Ashley? They are giving her some whack dates, some whack men. You mean to tell me we got another alcoholic? Another man that can't hold his liquor? Where are the producers going to find these men? Are they standing outside the R&J liquor store? Are they at the corner liquor store? Are they hanging out at a AA meeting at the front door as people come into the meeting? Because I don't understand how we've gotten 2 bachelors who can't hold their liquor. She already accepted one of them into the mansion, Steve, which I didn't think she should accept in the first place. But he's up here in the mansion. He's over here now and apologizing, saying that wasn't really me. Yeah, it was you. It was you. It was you. And now you're trying to apologize, trying to dial it back, trying to step it back. Ashley, girl, it was him. I don't care what he says when he says that's not who he is. He's embarrassed. You know how alcoholics be doing. After they go into a drunkenness, the next day they always apologetic. I don't know who that was. I'm sorry. I'll never do it again. I don't want to be this person. Y'all don't even know no alcoholic. I'm telling you, alcoholics got some best apologies. But guess what? It don't last. The next thing you know, they right back where they are. So we'll see. He'll probably be up in this mansion getting drunk again. You better check your vodka and tequila bottles. You ever be around an alcoholic? Have them in your house? My girlfriend did. She had a housekeeper. Must have been alcoholic. We didn't even know it. Till one day we went and tried to get we didn't even know it till we tried to go and make us a little drink with some vodka, pour our little vodka in our little drink. And I was like, man, this tastes watery. What's going on? Next thing we knew, the vodka had water all in it. Housekeeper drank up all the vodka. That's going to be Steve and this other guy. What was his name? Jason. I hope she don't choose him. I know it was like a little cliffhanger at the end, but she ain't going to choose him. Actually, a smart girl. She is not going to choose him. But they had a little guest on the show, Selena Johnson. She was over here telling Ashley, listen, girl, ask for what you want up in the beginning. If they don't check off your list, keep it moving. That was her advice to Ashley. I'm not going to say nothing about it. I'm not going to say one thing about it. My mouth is closed. But you know what I am going to talk about are these dates again. First thing I heard was they said they was going to go on a gladiator date. Now, if y'all been watching my reviews, I've been having a big problem with the dates Ashley's been going on because I felt like the dates were all about like masculinity. She got to buck up, and I just didn't like it. I was like, gosh, dang, why is every date about boxing, working out, doing all this other kind of stuff? Then next thing you know, they said there's going to be a gladiator date. I said, good Lord, they're going to make Ashley a gladiator now? What is going on? But I was happy to see. I think she was disappointed, though. I think she thought she was going to be a gladiator. But it ended up being that they wanted the men to be the gladiators. And I don't know, it wasn't much gladiating going on. All they was doing was pressing themselves up against a wall. But anyway, at least she didn't join in. At least she didn't have no doggone whistle talking about give me 10. So I guess I have to take what I can get. So Jason comes on in. He's a police officer. And then you have Marcus come on in, and he is a financial manager. So she says Marcus looks like he sits at a desk all day. And I guess what? I guess Jason over here is sending people to jail all day. So I guess white collar worker, blue collar worker. We don't want to get in no fights like them Ebony Williams videos talking about who's better, white collar workers or blue collar workers. We don't want to get into that kind of fight. But Marcus goes ahead and brings us some flowers. She talking about, I can't stand flowers. I was like, oh my gosh, Ashley. But I'm so happy what she didn't say it in front of his face. I'm happy she lied. Yep, she lied. She put on the smiling face and said, thank you very much. I appreciate it because it was a thought that counts. That's exactly it, Ashley. It's the thought that counts. So I'm glad she held it together and did tell that man, I don't like no flowers. As you get to know him, if you really start dating him, you could tell him your real thoughts. Hey, you know what? I'm not really that into flowers, but I do love plants. I do love this. I do love that. So I was glad she didn't just cut the man off at his knees or when he was trying to do something nice to her. But it kind of backfired because then when they got to the house for that second part of the date, then Jason tried to make up for it and bring some flowers too. That was funny. She said she don't like flowers because she thinks it's a waste of money. How often are you getting flowers, man? Oh, how is a waste of flowers? Even if flowers cost you only $50, but maybe you only getting flowers, what, 4 times a year, 5 times a year? I don't know. I can see if the man was bringing you flowers every single week, you'd be like, okay, you don't need to spend $75 every week on flowers for me. But if the man wants to bring you flowers 4 or 5 times a year, and what's he spending, $300 a year? You spend more than that going to a dinner at a fancy restaurant. I don't know, that kind of stuff to me, if the man enjoys, also enjoys buying flowers and maybe he likes the flowers too in the house. Maybe he likes some fresh smelling flowers in the house. Maybe it ain't all for you. Maybe it's not all for you. But you know what? I agree with her. If it is something that you really don't like, you can speak up later on. But I am happy she didn't cut the man off at his knees on the first date. Then Brent had one of his first dates come in. They're going to do a trampoline thing. That trampoline thing is hard. Let me tell you, that take your breath away. I don't know if y'all have ever done it, but it is a workout. And if you're not careful, you'll twist an ankle out there. I went a couple of times after that. I said, no more for me. This is going to be for the young people. This is going to be for the young people. Because let me tell you, you'll twist a knee or twist the ankle out there if you ain't know what you're doing. And don't go into them little foam balls when you jump into the foam balls and it's a big old foam pool. I could barely get out of that thing. I'd ask somebody to come help me get out. It was a mess. I was so embarrassed, y'all. I was so embarrassed. Somebody had to come and try to start helping me get out because I couldn't get out. But Brent said he first liked the young lady, Jassy, because he said she was voluptuous. Here you go again, talking about the women's bodies and booties and stuff. It's the first thing he sees. He's just shallow. I know men are visual. I know they're visual, but it ain't got to be the first thing he talks about all the time. It's just wild. I mean, I don't know. I don't think there's much depth to Brent. Brent better show me something more than be able to talk about a woman's booty, voluptuousness, her body. Something more. I want to hear something more. And I don't just want to hear about booties and God. I want to hear about something more than booties and God. I want to hear other things that he's into because right now he's like a 2-trick pony. Booty and God. Give me more, Brent. Give me more. But after a little gladiator fest, Ashley said she was at first attracted to Jason because, he was showing a little bit more physicality and, he could stand up on the wall a little bit more. Truth be told, neither one of them was in good shape. I don't know what kind of crook Jason's going to run down. I don't think he can run too fast. If Jason throw his sirens on you, you might as well just start running. But then again, I don't know. Some of these cops, sometimes they be shooting you in the back. So maybe you out and run. Don't run. Let me go back on that. A black man for sure do not run from the cops. Let me correct that. That's too serious. I don't need to be joking out here. Do not run from the cops. Go ahead, put your hands up. Do exactly what they say. Don't make no fast moves or whatsoever. Because Jason ain't chasing you. Jason is not going to chase you. She said she loved the charisma of Jason at first. She loved his assertiveness. She loved the fact that he was concentrating on her and everything. At first I was like, she ain't going to like him no matter what because his personality is too assertive, aggressive. I don't really think I really don't think Ashley likes really, really, really assertive men. I don't think that's her vibe. I don't think it's her vibe at all. And I'm starting to get a hint, just like people were talking about, that Ashley's going to start liking Brent. Because I don't know if you guys saw, she was all leaning into him on that chair. She had her hand on his leg. Lots of little different things. She's darn near in his lap. She on the very edge of her chair. Closest to Brent, where she trying to evaluate these men. She ain't interested in none of these men. None of them. She getting closer and closer to Brent. I guess they up here living in this house together. So maybe they having some late night chats and she's starting to realize I'd rather be with Brent than any of these alcoholics. I guess there ain't really much competition. Brent is a clear front runner when what you got to choose from is alcoholics. And then also you got Marcus over here, which she said is weird. I guess Brent is looking better and better. But Brent also had this other lady, Tiffany. Tiffany walked in talking about, do you cook? Because I don't cook. All I eat is salmon and rice every day. I couldn't be mad at her, girl, because I eat a lot of salmon too. I eat a lot of salmon because it's high in protein. It's high in protein, but without all the calories, it helps me control my weight. So I ain't mad at her, but she was like, do you cook? Because I don't cook. But Tiffany ain't interested in Brent. Tiffany is not interested in Brent. Let me tell you, when Brent said he wanted to have kids at 43 years old, and Tiffany said she had an 18-year-old already, and he asked her, do you still want to have kids? And she goes, maybe I would, maybe. She don't want no kids. I'm telling you, Brent, I'm telling you, these men out here think they don't have expirations dates when they 43 years old, and they do. There are a lot of women that don't want any more kids. So if you're a man at 43, 44, and you just now getting started with kids, you're right. There's a lot of women that don't really want to be with you because they don't want to start over with kids. Tiffany, one of them. Tiffany does not want any more kids. She just said, yeah, maybe, just so she could possibly stay in the little picking pool. But she don't want no more kids. You could tell. It was written all over her face. She like, I done come to the end. My son is 18 years old, and why do I want to go back to a newborn at my age? Tiffany don't want no kids. Tiffany ready to have some fun. You could tell she ready to turn up and have fun. If she 37 and her son is 18, Tiffany been a mama for, since she was 19 years old. Girl, Tiffany trying to live. Tiffany ain't trying to go back to changing no diapers and breastfeeding. I don't believe it. That's why she been single for 8 years. Tiffany says it's been 8 years since she been single. 8 years since she been single, because probably she keep meeting men that still want to have some kids. And she don't want none. She's like, nope, next. I don't want no kids. I don't want no kids. So as she said, she's just been in situationships. That's what she been in. Because she don't want no kids. And if there's a lot of men out there that still want kids, they're not really going to want to be with her. Because she really don't want no more kids. Not only does she not want no more kids, she probably don't want to raise his kids. So if he got kids, if he got like 4-year-olds or 5-year-olds or 6-year-olds, she don't want to be with him either because she don't want no young kids. She don't want to raise no kids. She don't want to have no kids. I can tell. I know who Tiffany is. I know who she is. But Jason beat out Marcus in that little gladiator experiment. He was the one to be able to hang up there longer than Marcus. How to hold themselves up. That was a lot of weight to hold up. That was a lot of weight. And them ankles was a bending and cracking. Them ankles was getting weak, and so was them muscles. I'm just glad Ashley didn't get up there and show them all off, show them out. Because I know she wanted to. I know she wanted to get up there and show she could do it and she could do it better. But I'm glad she resisted the urge because I know she wanted to do it. Because when we finally do get to the house for the second day, she's still doing some of her same bossing around, talking about, come on, let's sit over here, sit over there. We're going to set the table. She's still giving orders. It's 15 people in the room, but Ashley got to be the one giving the orders. Girl, go sit down, please. Marcus said the last girlfriend he broke up because she gave him an ultimatum. And he said, I don't like no ultimatums. I wasn't ready to get married. And Ashley, then why are you here now? That's a good question, Ashley. Why would you tell that story, Marcus? I'm with Ashley. Marcus is weird. Marcus is weird. But as soon as they got to this little dinner party, Jason let it loose. He said, nah, come on, everybody. Let's do a cheers. But let's not sip. Let's gulp. Take these folks back to AA meetings. Take them back to R&J liquor store. Get them out of here. This is a mess. This is a complete mess. What in the hell of Fitzgerald is going on? And Tiffany over here hanging all over Jason, the drunk man. And they got these little googly eyes looking at each other. He's all concentrating on her and concentrating on Ashley. He ain't interested in Ashley. He is not interested in Ashley. He's a police officer. He's a cop. He likes to save people. He likes to take charge. He likes to be the boss. And he recognized right away at that gladiator event that he was not going to be taking charge of Ashley, and he was all the way turned off. So by the time he got to this dinner, he was like, F it, I'm going to get drunk and I'm going to go after the other woman. I told y'all it's going to be a lot of men that are just not going to be interested in Ashley. And I'm not saying she would want Jason to be interested in her. Absolutely not. But he was quick not to be interested. He wasn't interested in Ashley. I'm telling you, Ashley's vibes, so that masculine energy she gives off, Jason wasn't interested. No strong, domineering man is going to want to tame Ashley. He wasn't interested. He went right on over there to the energy of Tiffany and started googly-eyeing her, talking about, look at me, girl, look at me. That was horrific. That was horrific. Marcus said, I ain't got to do nothing to compete with Jason. He going to destroy himself in this little game. You're right about that, Marcus. Marcus, your best bet is just to keep your mouth shut because Jason is going to self-eliminate. He going to end up self-eliminating just by what he does. But Marcus couldn't keep his mouth closed. He couldn't keep his mouth closed at all. Then he started talking about she should live for him. He should live for her. I think he said it wrong. I think what his intent was be that we should, I think his intent, he was trying to say that maybe when you're in a relationship, you both should be looking to make each other happy, not just please yourself, but also, invest in your partner and make your partner happy, which I do believe that. You can't come to a relationship just always thinking about your happiness. You do have to think about your partner's happiness. But I think the way it came out, it didn't sound right. It didn't sound right. But then when he started saying, pay attention, that's where he lost me. That's where he lost me. When he first said it, I was going to give him a little slack. I was going to give him a little slack because I think it came out wrong. But then when he starts saying, pay attention, oh no, I ain't got to pay attention to you. I don't have to pay attention to you. Don't be telling me to pay attention to you. No, I don't want to pay attention. I don't want to hear it. Oh, good Lord. He put himself in a deep hole. But you know who played it wrong? You know who played it wrong? Who played it wrong was Jazzy. I'm going to tell you, Jazzy. I was liking Jazzy. She was my front runner between the two women for Brent when she came in. She's a radio host. I thought she was a pretty woman. I was loving the way she was coming across, the conversation she was having. But when Marcus popped off the way he did, started talking about pay attention and all this other kind of stuff, what I didn't like Jazzy did was Jazzy barked back and piped up and responded to him. I didn't like it because I think what Jazzy forgot was she wasn't there for him. She was not there for Marcus one bit. So why would you even get into a debate, a conversation, or whatever you want to call it? She shouldn't have done it. She was there for Brent. And what she did was she shifted her focus from Brent to be about Marcus. And she's not even for Marcus. She let Marcus throw her off her game and what she was there for. And I believe that was a turnoff to Brent because what she came across as was argumentative and opinionated. That's what I'm going to say. Jazzy started coming off as argumentative and opinionated because she butted in to something where she didn't need to. She could have just let that man talk and say whatever the heck he wanted to say and say nothing. Let Ashley check him. If he was going to get checked by anybody, let Ashley do it because it was her date. Jazzy should have stayed out of it. In the end, it actually made Jazzy look worse. That's my opinion. In the eyes of Brent, sitting there and watching how Jazzy handled that, she chose to involve herself when she shouldn't have. That tells you something. That tells you that, wait, anytime I say something, even if Jazzy doesn't agree with it, doesn't share my same opinion, she gonna jump in and correct me. That's not necessary. It's not necessary always to correct a person when they don't agree with you. I don't know if people know that out here. You can listen to people's opinions and still not agree. You can do that out here in the world. You don't always have to challenge people's opinions, no matter how crazy they are. I'm telling you, it makes you look sometimes opinionated, and it makes you look argumentative when you feel you gotta always correct people. I wouldn't have even corrected Marcus. I would have let other people at the table correct Marcus, or I would have let Ashley correct people at the table. It wasn't Jazzy's job to do it, and I think it made her look worse in Brent's eyes. I really do. If you look at the way Brent was looking, he was not involved in the conversation whatsoever. He was sitting back observing, and I don't think he enjoyed that energy coming from Jazzy. I don't believe it at all. But then he didn't have much choice because here was the other lady, Tiffany, over here googling eyeing with Jason and everything. And he was like, dang, I really ain't got no options at all. He realized he really didn't have no options. And then later on when he started saying, when Kirk, Franklin, and Tammy came in and asked Jazzy what she thinks of Marcus, and Jazzy said, well, he could come out of his shell a little bit. Brent was really turned off by then. He said, oh, well, maybe she's not as interested in me as I thought. But it also told me about Jazzy. Why did he need to come out his shell? Because I think Jazzy likes to talk up. She's a radio host personality. She likes to talk. She's paid to give her opinion. She's paid to keep the conversation going. But not everybody wants that. Everybody don't want that in a wife and a mate. And she telling Brent he needs to come out his shell. Why? You already out your shell, Jazzy. You was already out your shell, taking up the whole floor. And so he fell back on you. That's right. He fell back on you, and you took over the conversation with Marcus, and you took over the conversation with him. And so now you say he needs to come out his shell more. Maybe you need to go in the shell a little bit. Maybe Jazzy needs to tone it down a little bit. That's what I'm saying. Some people say, I want him to match my energy. Sometimes it's you need to tone down your energy. Sometimes it's you need to tone down your energy. I don't know. I don't think it went over well with Jazzy and Brent. He chose her in the end, but it wasn't an enthusiastic choice. It was not enthusiastic. He chose her because he definitely couldn't choose Tiffany because Tiffany ain't interested in him. Just like Brittany last week wasn't interested in him. And last week, Brittany ghosted him and didn't even show up. This time, at least Tiffany showed up, but she ghosted him at the dinner. Britt been ghosted twice in 2 weeks. Ashley got 2 alcoholics, and Britt got 2 ghosts. This was funny. But when they were getting that little argument back and forth, Tiffany, Jazzy with Marcus on his comments, Jazzy was talking about I think Tiffany was saying, I don't want to live my life for somebody else. And then Jazzy went this whole thing that, nah, if you do that, that gives the person the ability to control you. Girl, she was doing too much. She was doing too much. I don't understand how she got to the control part. I guess she was trying to say that if you become too dependent on a man's happiness of making you happy, then he's going to end up having control over you. So he's the one that's going to be able to make you happy and unhappy. She took a whole lot from that comment. She took a whole lot from Marcus's comment. I didn't take it like that. I did not take it that way at all. But that also tells you about who maybe Jazzy is. I think she's a woman that likes to stay in control. I don't think she's a woman who didn't want to be dependent on a man. I think what she was saying was, I don't want to be dependent on a man for my happiness, because if I'm dependent on him for my happiness, then he can control me. But that's not how I viewed it. That's not how I viewed it at all. What I viewed it as, what Marcus was trying to say, yeah, he didn't say it right. What he was trying to say is that a man should invest a lot of time and energy into making his partner comfortable, his wife comfortable and happy. That's how I took it. I do want a man like that. I do want a man who takes the time and takes the energy to make me happy. Does that mean that now I'm completely solely dependent on that? No, that's two different things. And I don't know how Jazzy got to that point. I don't know how Jazzy got from the point that man said a man should be totally invested in making the woman happy. And then she got, no, that's controlling me. No, it's not. I can have a man trying to make me happy, but also not be completely dependent on it. Good Lord, just because somebody's trying to make me happy doesn't mean I can't also find other ways to make myself happy. I'm not dependent on him just because he's putting forth a lot of effort to make me happy. That's some strong independence. Nah, I don't have all that independence. Nope. I do want a man putting forth that effort. Absolutely do. I don't want to always be out here in the world having to do everything myself to make myself happy. Good Lord, what's the point of having a partner if you don't depend on your partner to do some things that you like? I don't know. Some of this stuff is backwards out here in the dating world. Some things the way people think. Ain't nothing wrong with depending on a man, people, for something. Money, happiness, something. You can depend on him. It doesn't mean that you can't take care of yourself. You can depend on a man for money, but then if he doesn't show up, you know how to make your own money. You can depend on a man for making you happy, but if he doesn't show up, you still know how to make yourself happy. You can do both at the same time. I don't know why it has to be an either or, Jazzy. I really don't. But as this dinner was going on, Jason was getting drunker and drunker, talking about bring some more drinks. And Brent was over here like, no, bring waters. Please bring some water. And Jason was like, and bring some drinks too. This was hilarious. And Tiffany goes, oh, well, what's your relationship with God to Brent? And Brent starts reciting Psalms 82. This ain't real, people. Brent act like he read the Bible every single night. That's probably the only verse he knows. Then drunk Jason started talking about he cheated on his wife 6 years ago because he wasn't no real man. I forgot what he called himself. He said he didn't know how to be no real man. He cheated on himself. I'm telling you that when people get drunk, the truth do be coming out. I guess alcohol is a truth serum. He said he's a hot boy and he was selfish. He probably is still a hot boy and selfish. What in the hell Fitzgerald is going on? This is a whole lot of liquor talking. A whole lot of liquor talking. In the end, Brent said he chose Jazzy because, you know what, she was able to recite some things about it. You know, she was able to make a recovery and then, you know, they shared the whole interest in God and everything. He chose her because he didn't have no other choice. He don't like He don't like Jazzy. Jazzy, you ain't gonna go far in the mansion. I'm gonna tell you right now. You're not gonna go far in the mansion because Brent does not like you. But you were the best over Tiffany because Tiffany was over here Googling-eyeing another man. And he at least has some self-respect not to choose her. But he don't like Jazzy. He don't like Jazzy at all. And I guess we was left with a cliffhanger, if you can call it a cliffhanger, on is Ashley going to choose Brett, Jason, or Marcus. She ain't going to choose Jason. Maybe she won't choose either one of them. But if she has to choose, if they make him choose, she going to choose Marcus. She definitely ain't going to choose Jason. If Ashley chooses another alcoholic for the mansion, y'all, I'm going to be fit to be tied. If Ashley chooses another alcoholic for the mansion, we're going to have to change this from a mansion to an official AA meeting. That's what we're going to call it, an AA meeting. This ain't going to be no mansion and no dating show no more. This is going to be an intervention. This is going to go from a dating show to an intervention. Anyway, that's it, y'all. I will catch y'all next week on the next recap. Talk to you later. Bye.